today we are going to be going through the staging and design aspects of a home and how we figure out the price to sell it at. Ready to come check it out? Come on. You can take a second, press that subscribe button, press that bell button that lets you know I'm uploading every now and again, and press that like button, press it hard, make sure all your friends are pressing it too, because it lets people like you know that this video is here and they might enjoy it too. Thanks. Brian actually gave some really good points. We're still gonna have a big party of realtors here that are gonna check out the house and give us a real price opinion on multiple numbers, not just one guy. So we're gonna have about 10 realtors here that really give us an average price to get us a real good number for it. But again, if you think that you can bring your buyers up to a number where I don't even need to bring to the market, that would be incredible.
Yeah.
So
Jason, windows.
Yeah.
Ready for me?
Yes.
I have Jacqueline here. She's the listing agent on the home, and she's going to be telling us exactly what her plan is, what her goal is, and how she's going to do it.
We're gonna do a price opinion, and we're gonna invite about a dozen of the agents in the area to come to the house and do a walkthrough and then give us a price opinion. It's an interesting property because the yard's really big for this area. We have nice views. Probably one of the best houses Shelter Homes has ever done. The market's hot. It's about 8–10% higher in the last few months than we've seen. So I really just don't want to overprice. I don't want to underprice. So I think if we can get about a dozen people's opinions, then we can sit down and kind of come up with the average price and list it at that.
How many houses have we done together? We've never done a price opinion. We've never had sort of a situation where we're like, what do we price this thing at? We kind of usually know where we're roughly gonna be. Why is it on this particular home are we in this situation? Aside from the fact that I'm crazy.
Well, generally I've pre-sold all of the houses I've ever done with you.
It's true.
Everyone. However, this location is close enough to walk to the town, but yet it's off the beaten path. So people don't really drive by it. So we didn't pre-sell this one. So therefore, it's just, I want to make sure that we get it right. When I first started real estate, like 18 years ago at Coldwell Banker, that was what everyone always did. They always did a price opinion. So I think going back to that on a house that is a little bit unusual because you can't really comp it out. There aren't a lot of comps in this neighborhood for this type of house is the way to go on this property. Oh, the is because we're in COVID, we don't do open houses anymore and we don't do caravans. So it's very hard to get the agents in to see the property unless they have a client.
God damn it, Kristen, you ruined the cut.
I know that.
Cut!
I'm silent.
I'm kidding. I'm fake upset.
Jason, you can't do open.
Okay, awesome. So now that we've figured out exactly what we're going to be doing, so we're getting the house staged. We're going to go through the process of getting the house staged and what our decisions are, how we made some decisions, how we picked a stager for the house. But from this point on, we're wrapping up staging today. Tomorrow, we're going to have pictures being done on Tuesday. And then what is the process for you to really execute the house and get it on the market and get people to see it? Like what's some good advice on getting it there? What do you do? What are the steps you take? All that stuff, kind of stuff.
Oh, we take photographs, we do a video, we do a Matterport. So right now having a good presence online and having great photos and video is the most important thing.
I agree.
Well, we do the video, we do the photographs, we do the Matterport, and then we put it on the MLS, and the second it goes on the MLS, it then feeds to all the other sites like Zillow, Redfin, Trulia, all of the other places people go to shop for homes.
Next, we're gonna do staging. So we're gonna meet with Kristen, who's on Jacqueline's team, really talented agent, and we're gonna go through the staging process with her on what she had to do to get this house to have furniture in it. All right, come on, check it out. What's going on, everybody? I am standing next to Kristen, who is on Jacqueline's team. She really heads a major part of the operation in terms of getting the staging set up, getting all the the lighting and the videographer coming and handles all the paperwork on the back end. So basically, you're the agent. I'm kidding, Jacqueline. That was a joke.
But we all really know. No, I'm kidding.
But basically, what I really want to talk about today is you and I definitely went through some trials and tribulations, or not really tribulations, but we went through the exercise of staging companies and going through that process. How did we land on the staging company we went with? Why did you go with them? What does pricing look like for them? Did we go with a competitive bidder? Did we go with somebody who was too expensive, more expensive, less expensive? Why did we choose this company? And then what is the process of when furniture is actually coming in? What are you really doing? What are you really paying attention to? Why are you paying attention to it? What are you using in the house to bring inspiration to you to say, yeah, that table really does work with this house? The designer did a great job, because we can't just depend on the design. We can't just depend on the designer 100%. We also need to take responsibility for how the design comes out. So I really want to hear from you what your process is on all of it.
So as Jacqueline mentioned, you guys have not listed a property altogether with us as a team. So I think it was important for us to all go through the process of interviewing multiple companies together to make sure you were comfortable with it, and also just have that experience together. So I'd say we reached out to about 5 or 6 top companies in LA and had them come out and hear what they thought, as well as got bids for the homes and looked at their past projects. For me, the staging is not just about the company, it's definitely about the individual designer. It makes a huge difference in how it turns out. You could go to the best company, but you could get the worst designer, and so it really makes it's a waste. With that, you mentioned pricing, and I think
we can be open about it. We can totally say it. I don't care.
With pricing, I think a lot of times people build these incredible homes like you have, Jason, and then a lot of times they come and they're like, but this one's just $5,000 less than this person. Let me tell you, it's not worth it. That will cost you $150,000 down the line for saving your $5,000 to $7,000. It's
on the sales price.
On the sales price.
Yep.
It's really, really important that you don't let that number get to you, and you really have a connection with the designer and feel comfortable with their inventory and how it will fit in your home, because in the long run, it's never worth it. So don't cut corners. Also with staging.
Well, I will say, 2 seconds, but also just, keep in mind also, from my perspective, I look at this as a line item on a budget. So just like I have a budget for tile, I have a budget for staging. So really trying to stay within budget, but also achieve the same design styles that I achieve for doing this kitchen or doing anything else in this house. I want to make sure that I'm creating the best product and the best design for the home, but within budget, within being reasonable as well. So.
If you cheap out on staging though, I do feel like then buyers come in, and if they see a cheap item or a dirty item, it sounds crazy, but they see one thing like that and they automatically associate that to the house. So it's very important that you're holding the same level of quality with everything. Agent, the way it smells, the furniture, the way it's built. Because
you gonna make cookies in the house?
Not cookies in COVID, but we definitely have this special candle. I know it sounds crazy, but we have a special candle, and we always like the special candle. So if you want to know the candle, you have to come book an appointment, right? When it comes to working with the designer once you select them, in this case, we are working with a designer we've worked with before. So it's really nice because her and I already jive well together, and we've been through a few projects. So she knows these stools I love, and she knows that they work in this house, and we know certain items are great. We do a few walkthroughs together to go over different items that Jason wants, items I want, and what the designer wants. And I think it's important that everyone feels like they win in the process. So let's say Jason wanted this house to have a ton of color in it. That wouldn't be really a fit. If he wanted lime greens and reds everywhere, we would say no, but we wouldn't tell him no in a sense, because we have to make sure everyone's voice is heard. So we would give it to him in a way that he still feels like he was heard and included and involved in the process. And that's how we like to work with all of our clients. Jason, did you feel like that?
What did you say no to me about? now I don't know what I got told no about. I want to know.
That's the whole point, because it all worked out. We always want to make sure our client on the buy side or sell side feels like they win.
that's the winning formula. Everyone wins.
Finishing staging this house. The truck is on its way with some remaining pieces. But in the meantime, I want to talk about why we pick certain items and how we work with the designer to make it really work with the house, because we always want to make sure we're speaking to the house versus just picking items that we like that might not flow. So for example, in this room, it has a really good indoor-outdoor flow. And so as you can see, it goes right out to the backyard with the seating area, and we have the seating area here. So when you come in, there's two things you have to think about. You have to think about how you're gonna show the house and how someone's gonna live in the house. And so both of those things have to be thought about with staging. So we recently had a staging company come in and they did a huge sectional, and it was in a room that flowed like this. Well, for me to then show the house, the sectional was in a weird way. I would literally have to climb over it or take the clients all the way around it. So it's really important that I know when I bring them in, I can walk in and talk about this and not be obstructed, but then they can also see how they would live here in a family style way. So there's going to be a long, comfortable, almost cloud couch here, which is important too, because you always want to pick items that I feel like the buyer currently already owns or is aspiring to own, so that they really feel like it's their home. And cloud couches right now are like all the rage at Restoration Hardware. So people come in and they identify that, and it already makes them feel like they're at home and it's their home. You always want to make sure they see themselves here. So that would be here, but it still gives us then the ability to walk through and show people how great it is to have your indoor-outdoor living. Same thing here, when you transition to the outside, we wouldn't want to do seating this way or a sectional, because then it's gonna break that flow. And you wanna make sure that when you're showing a house, you flow through it super naturally so that, you know, they get the best experience.
Yeah, this almost doubles up the room. The way the staging was done right here, this literally feels like it's double the size of what it was because of how the staging is laid out, which is like genuinely just an incredible touch.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting to find out that you literally, almost from the Asian standpoint, you're trying to actually have the stagers design the home structurally almost for your walkthrough. You're literally thinking like, okay, I'm gonna be coming through the front door, I'm gonna be walking through this way, I'm gonna walk through that way. If I want to have them stop in this room, how do I get out of that space, let them experience it, and then also be able to come back in and kind of, it's really interesting. I never actually thought about like
100%.
Structuring the walkthrough almost.
And I know a lot of people think, you know, we just show up and open the door and turn the lights on, but there is more to it to that. So beyond just working through the layout, we're obviously looking at the home's finishes as well, to pull out the white oak from the cabinetry and the French oak flooring, and also making sure that we're using different textures and patterns in the pillows and furniture as well. Jason's put a lot of thought and detail into this home with the herringbone floors, and then you'll see how it kind of opposites throughout the house, and using textures throughout the rest of the home that are different, and pull those things up, and you'll see throughout the house too, there'll be other herringbone type textures that come in too, like even on the chair as well. It helps really feel like it has a layered effect. So we look at colors, textures, finishes, and flow.
Do you look at what's the word? Do you look at so when designing a home, we usually talk about form and function, right? Mm-hmm. So does it function and does it look good, right? Furniture has form, function, and comfortability. Do you ever look at it and go like, man, like I know these chairs are the worst thing to sit on, but they look so good, we're still putting them in? Or you're like, they're so horrible that like even if someone even just decided to remotely sit on them, they wouldn't want to buy the house?
Honestly, the comfortability really only takes effect for me in a living room area or somewhere where I know the client is probably going to sit at some point. So if it's a really uncomfortable dining room chair, I don't really care. I'm gonna go more for a look on that while we stage. But I will say for the most part, all of the stuff that we use is very comfortable. I don't think I've sat in something that I don't personally find comfortable, and they also sell a lot of their furniture, and we find our clients end up buying pieces of the staging all the time because they thought it worked so well and so perfectly. So when you do spend more to get the right staging as well, then the buyer is essentially getting a little bit of a benefit too, because then they've almost worked with the designer in advance because that designers pick certain pieces that work in the home. So they're kind of getting like an extra added bonus with that.
That's a heavy chair. That's a heavy chair. I don't think I can move that chair.
For Thanksgiving?
That's a heavy chair.
You can't move the chair?
That was a joke. It's a bad joke, but I'm a dad, so I can do a dad joke. It's fine. Guys, that's a wrap on the staging episode. Kristen, thank you so much. I know you have a showing to do. We gotta sell this house. If we sell it before staging, I'm not gonna promise you anything because I know that this is too documenting for me to promise something.
You'd really be on the hook, but now it's time to get you out of my house.
There you go. Woo! I'm out. Guys, honestly, press that subscribe button, press the like button, let other people know just like you they might enjoy this video too. Press the bell button right here. Lets you know that another video is being uploaded. It informs you that I've uploaded a video. And go ahead, let me know in the comments what you think about the house, what you think about staging, any questions you might have, and I'll get to them.
Agents.
Don't mention the agents.